Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Gator here, and I'm here for show number 8, evening show. This is a Thursday show. Don't always do Thursday shows, but I thought today was important because I think some people got hurt. I know I got hurt early. Thankfully, I made it back and ended on a pretty good day. But I noticed something that people were saying, and I wanted to kind of hit on that really quick and then answer a question or two. And I've also edited and messed with my software for recording, so I'm hoping that this is better quality. I'm going to continue to try to increase the quality of the videos I put out, make them a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer to see, so they're not as blurry and as hazy. So let me know if this one's better than the previous ones. If you go check it out on YouTube after the fact. That'll give me some good feedback on things I need to change, or if you have any suggestions about what I can do short of hiring somebody to do this for me as far as the editing part of it. I'd appreciate anything like that. So, first off, I'm here to say that this is all for entertainment purposes only, and nothing I say, I'm not offering you stock picks, investment advice, anything like that. These are just my opinions, and it's for, just for entertainment, for you to come and to laugh and talk, blow off steam with me. Uh, and it should not be taken as advice or anything like that. So, that being said, today, the Open. There were some names, and somebody said it, Con said it, that were good today. And I think today was one of those days when you could have made money early, and you could have made money through the middle of the day pretty well. There were names that were working, and there were some names that weren't, or that took a little bit to get going. But people, so I started off green. I'll just say this: I started off green. I was having a very good day, and then I got ripped in some Boeing news, and I lost my whole day. And then I ended up trying to trade, and at the point when I lost in Boeing, I was trying to catch. I was trying to catch this. I was trying to catch an Amazon breakout, but I was trying to catch an Amazon breakout when it was here. So it's like I lost in Boeing news around here somewhere, like 15, 20 minutes in. There was some China Boeing news. And I was up, I don't know, let's say I was up like 5, 8 grand, 8 grand or something like that. I lost all that on Boeing news and went back to flat, and then ended up kind of chopping around. Um, and I did not detach quick enough, and I didn't step back and realize what was going on and realize what I was doing. And I knew I was losing, but instead of doing what I've said here, and it's easier to do than say, I kept trying names that weren't working. And I kept trying to force Amazon. And here's why Amazon didn't work early if you're looking at it. And you can see, if you're on YouTube, you can see these lines, how they match up. If I click here on the chart, the guys in Discord can see this. If you're on YouTube, you see where it matches up on the Qs, which is over here. And you can now see that in Discord where that matches up. So on the 1 minute chart. So the Qs in this area are just going sideways and going down. And for those on Discord, I'll show it. So look at that. This is the Qs while Amazon wasn't going up. Look at this. In that same time frame, when Amazon was being hard, when it was being choppy, even when it was going down, look at this. Look at how this was trading. You can see both of them now. And granted, there was some Amazon that worked here, but all this chop right here, I think this is, I made some money, and I think this is what got people. Amazon started popping, and the Qs weren't really strong, and they weren't breaking out. Then, all of a sudden, the Qs dropped, Amazon dropped, and then we thought Amazon was going to go back up, but Amazon didn't. It chopped in this area, and I think a lot of us got chopped out and chopped in around here. I probably was down a little over, not just this name, but in other names that I was trying to get and trying to catch a breakout in. I think most of what I did was Amazon, but there was some Tesla too, and I just got chopped up in this area because it was really hard to do. It was really hard to trade. The price improvement had shrunk away, different things had shrunk away, and I didn't wait for this. If you're looking, you look at a Qs chart. I didn't wait for this. This is when Amazon got really easy. When the Qs broke above VWAP right here. And you can see how this marries. Here is where the Qs broke above VWAP. After the Qs broke above VWAP in this area, I started making all my money back. And I was down again. I said it in the room, 25, 30 grand. Because I was over trading. I was being stupid. I saw other people making money. And what it was is I focused too much. And I didn't even realize it at the time. I didn't detach. I didn't realize it at the time. Or I just thought I could push through it. That I wasn't trading smart because I was thinking about what I had lost earlier. I was thinking that I had gone down and lost whatever it was, and I just needed to get a few trades in. I'm going to do one or two trades and get off. And I just kept losing. I'm like, oh, the next one will get it, the next one will get it. But I didn't stop and realize why I was losing. I was getting in late. All the pops were popping and then dropping. Like, this looks easy. To me, this was hard. Other people were making money in it, and I felt that I should be making money in it. I was like, why am I not making money in this? Here, I'll share the rotation. Sorry for if you're watching on YouTube. I'm going to share this really quick in chat. Click on that if you're trying to get in this, and you can click on my screen, and you'll see my shared screen. So I saw it dropping. I saw it, and I just could not make money in here. I don't know what it was, and I know what it is now that I look back on it. One, the Qs. The Qs in this whole area, even though it was going up, all these Amazon candles are chopping inside of each other. So it would break out, it would rip down, it would break up, it would rip down. It would trick you, and you would win on one, and then you would lose on the next three. For me, it was just hard. I think other people were making in it. I wasn't. And I would jump to another name, and then I would lose. And I would jump to another name, and then I would lose. And it just constantly threw me off. And it was almost like, man, I can't do it. Like, I just can't seem to win. And what I failed to do in that moment, in this span, if you're watching on YouTube, of the Qs doing this, and I actually realized it about here. I was like, wait a minute. The Qs have dropped below VWAP, and they've failed it 3 times. Huh. It's between VWAP and the 200 moving average. I need to wait for it to get above there before I trade. And then I didn't trade anything else until it started going up. And then what happened with another name was Google, which is a name I was watching early. Let's see, this is in that same area. Previous to this, I made some money here in Google. I made some of my money back here. And then it dropped down here, and I probably lost once or twice, and I was like, I'm done. I'll wait. And you can see it hit the 200. After it hit the 200, I was interested in it, but it wouldn't break out either, and it was chopping. I think I lost some in this. These are the 2 names I was trying to trade. Looking back, there were other names if I would have been detached, like RBLX, QCOM, letter U, that were trading a lot better and that were actually working. But I was so, for some reason, emotionally invested on catching these names that I didn't look around and see what was actually working in the market. I didn't see why things might not be working. Like, I felt that I should be winning. I felt that I should be up a good amount on the day. And then I looked at my account. I'm like, I'm not up. I'm down money. I'm losing money. Like, what am I doing wrong? And it was somewhere around here that I if you're watching YouTube, the 3rd time that the Qs hit VWAP, I realized, and I'll do it on this chart just for right about here. I don't have VWAP on this chart, but right around here it's hitting VWAP for the 3rd time, and I'm like, you know what? I need to chill. I need to wait for this to break above if I'm going to play these names. And then Gasha saved my rear end and was like, have you looked at letter U? And this is why this chat is so important, guys, is because there's people here that are watching something that you're not watching. They're trading something that you're not trading. They see things differently than you. And here's the secret. No matter how good of a trader you are, you're never going to have a complete vision of the market. And there are other people who know what they're doing, who can spot names, and who can say, what about this? And if you listen to them and you're not, I'll use the word ego, your ego is not stopping you from viewing and from seeing other people and what they're doing, as far as just the name they're watching, you can find that name, and then you can do what we call rotate into it and find a way that you can play it based on your strategies and your strengths. So someone said you, gosh, I said you, and thank you for making my day back. You gave me confidence. It was in, I don't remember where it was at. I think it was, let's see, it might have been here, and I might have been watching it on a 2-minute chart. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was here. Yeah, it was in here, and I saw it on the 2 minute chart, and Gosh had called it, and I looked at what it had done and how it was trading, and then I was interested in it, and I got this put on my list, and I ended up playing this move and this move, and let's see what time. Yeah, and I caught a lot of this, and it might not sound like a ton, but I caught this, and then I waited and I traded again down here, and I actually caught this whole move right here in letter U, and I made back almost all of my day, or no, I made back, I don't remember. Let's say I was down 30. I'm using this number just as a whatever. It was somewhere in the area of 30,000, and it was stupid of me to get down there, but I made back, let's say, 20 of it on letter U, playing it. The other name I made back in was Google, and Mitchell was on fire this morning. Mitchell was trading really well, and when he was calling names out, like he called Google out, hey, Google looks strong. Oh, this is a 2 minute chart. I mean, you can see Google on a 2 minute chart here, and in here, Mitchell's like Google, I think, and he played most of this. I started playing it in here because the Qs were above VWAP, and then I started playing Google. So I played letter U, Google, and then Amazon at that point. I was able at that point to detach. Once I stopped and I realized what I was doing wrong, it's not like, it doesn't matter what I was doing wrong in the moment. What matters is that I was losing. And I could have felt that I was doing everything right, but guess what? I wasn't doing everything right. I was obviously doing something wrong. I was down money. And thankfully, I pulled my head out of my rear end. I sat back and I was like, yo, this isn't working. Obviously, it's not working. I should have realized it wasn't working $20,000 ago. So, tell you what, I'm just going to chill for a second, and I'm going to find something. I'm going to lean on the room, I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to start all over. And I talked about this before, and I'll say it again, that every run up or down, you have to reset at the end of that run. It has to be a new day almost in your head, a new trade. You can't make, like let's say you catch most of this in Google, this right here. You can't come back and then be like, well, you know what? Okay, now that I have this much money, I could triple size up and do all this kinds of stuff. No. What you have to do is, let's say you catch all of this, or you catch a lot of this, and then it resets down here, and you took one or two front run losses or whatever, and like, okay, you start over, and you're like, okay, my day's done, and now my day's starting over. It's like halftime. It's like halftime in a football game, 0-0. Every play, 0-0, no matter what the score is. 0-0. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're up or you're down. If you're down money, it's the same thing. Two questions if you're down money. Do you want to continue to trade? Maybe the answer should be no. If the answer is yes, then it's got to be 0-0. You cannot come back out and have the same mindset that you've had with I'm down money and I'm going to make it back. And there's a question in chat, do I size up on the recovery trades? No, I start small. So Jess asked that. I if anything, I size down and I do micro goals. My goal when I'm coming back, one is 0-0, so I'm going back, but I change my defaults and I just make one or two good trades. So like in Google here, instead of doing my usual 10 contracts or something, hypothetical, maybe I do 2 or 3, and I get 2 or 3 little wins. 2 or 3 little wins. Okay, this name's working. The Qs are going up. All right, nice. Okay, all right, I can make money in this. I'm trading this right. Everybody can make money in anything. Sometimes people are making money in things I'm losing in. That's not that's my fault. Oh well, I'm not trading it good. Okay, who cares? I'm gonna go do something else. I'm not gonna, because Rose is making, let's say Rose is making 10 grand in Amazon. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, I've got to make the same thing. I don't know. She is better at doing that. She's Amazon queen. She might just be the Amazon queen and is doing that. And I'm not going to come in and if I'm not playing it well and I'm not making the money, I'm not going to sit there and watch her make all the money and be like, okay, I've got to do this now. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to go find something that I can trade well. Or I change up how I trade Amazon. Boof said something really smart today. He was like, are you guys entering names earlier and then getting out earlier, like front running earlier? And some people said yes, and he changed it. He changed what he did. Find out, well, what can I change in what I'm doing? Because obviously exactly what I'm doing is not working. I have to make micro changes on the move to come back. So 0-0, start small and get a few wins, and change something about what you're doing, something really small. But and I'm not a stop loss person. I never use them as far as hard stop losses. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, and I'm not offering you advice on that. What I'm saying is that I'm either right or wrong in trades instantly. I'm either in or out relatively quickly. Same for my days. Like I was down big today, I didn't stop. Why? If I couldn't have got it out of my head that I was losing, I would have stopped. But I sat back, played with my kids for a little bit, and then was like, okay, 0-0. Let's just make the next. Let's just make the next play, as it were. Let's find the next trade that works. Qs are above VWAP. 1, 2, 3 names trading above the first 2-minute high. Look at Amazon when it started trading above the first 1 and 2-minute high. Google here when it did the same thing. How it traded. And when I started making those changes, that's when I started coming back. And that's how I started making money. and I recognized that, and the room helped me make money today. And we weren't all on the mic all day. We weren't all doing that. But I just slowly started making changes. And here's the third thing. I think this would be the third thing that you need to know and that you have to know if you're going to come back is, one, it's not the market's fault. It's not the people who are giving you call-outs fault. It's not the strategy's fault. It's not, the juju or whatever else you believe, is got you down and the universe is against you or you're being punished. It's not that's fault. The only thing that you can put blame on when you're losing and when you're not making trades is you. It is 100% all of the time your fault. Whether or not it is, maybe something screwed up and it happened, guess what? It's stereo fault. Fidelity, SSE, something else messed up. There's a rare occasion, maybe 1 out of 100 times, when it's not your fault. The rest of the time, it's your fault, and even if it's not your fault, you should accept responsibility because that's going to let you fix it. If you're coming in here and you're not making money and you start the blame game or the woe is me game and all this other stuff game of why can't I do this and all this other stuff, you're just going to sink down in that hole and you're going to tilt harder and you're going to smash into stuff and you're going to be done trading very quickly in your career. If you accept responsibility for every time you click that button and you accept that it's on you, and you view the trades and you view the strategies and you view your money like it's your business, like it's your livelihood, and you start making intelligent trades, not emotional ones. You properly observe the market, orient yourself to what you should be doing, and make a decision. You're going to be able to come back from down days. At least some. Maybe you don't get all the way back, and maybe it doesn't matter. If you're down $5,000 and you come back and you're only $1,000 down, then that's $4,000 you didn't have to make back the next day. That's a win. Trading is not a zero-sum game. It is not a zero-sum game. And small red days and small green days allow you to have massive green days. And someone asked a question earlier today, and I wanted to hop on and answer it and do it in here, is how do you view, or how do you come into the day and forget about the last 2 red days or something? If you're having multiple red days, how do you come in and how do you put that out of your mind? Maybe some people have an idea in chat. If you do, throw it in chat. How I do it is I think long term. I think strategic. I don't think tactical. Let me define that. Strategic, big view, general view, 10-year plan view, 5-year plan. Tactical, in the moment, in the decision that day, the 1-day plan, how I'm going to trade that day, how I'm going to trade the next setup, how I'm going to trade that. When I want to come in and I had a bad day, and it's kind of like a war, and you lost a battle or you lost something. Because you lose a battle doesn't mean you lose the war. Because you lose a fight don't mean that your career is done. Hopefully, if you lose enough fights, eventually you're going to be done. But just because you lose once doesn't mean that you're done. I know you're not. Gosh, I wasn't talking to you exactly. I'm just like, I don't know if that's, or if you're saying something that's just a random statement. Because some people will, it's easy to blame other things when you're losing. Sorry guys, I'm reading chat. What I do is I think the long term of trading. Well, how am I doing generally speaking? Are most of my days green? Yeah, most of my days are green. If I continue to do well and I do this over the long period of time and I continue to come in and I stop losing money tomorrow, and I just have a good day and I just have a good day, and I stop looking at the money and I stop thinking about the money and I try to start thinking about the trading. I try to start thinking about the long term benefits of trading. I start trying to think about the long term benefits of this lifestyle, of what I'm going to do long term. So to get over those one and two little battle losses, I step back from the crap of getting smacked in the face, and I just think long term. Like for instance, right now I'm up, I'm up really good on the month. So, and I'm not going to share that the number because toxicity, at least not until the end of the month. But because of because of that, I'm able to step back and be like, hey, I only have to make this much for the month. Hey, if you're working a part-time job or a full-time job and you're doing this, then this is just extra money in your pocket. And let's say you're up 10 grand and now you're up 2 grand. Well, that's $2,000 more than I had before. And if I keep doing this, I'm going to eventually get there, and I'm just going to keep chugging away. I realize the mistakes I made. I'm going to make them again. Let's not beat myself up too much. I'm going to make it again. But I'm going to try to recognize this beforehand, and I find the good and the bad. I find the mistakes. So like if I was losing in Amazon early, even though Amazon was outperforming the Qs, but the Qs are ripping down and Amazon's not going up, and look at it here, all these choppy candles and stuff, and I can tell you this was harder to play than it looks unless you know how Amazon trades. All this was hard to trade. Next time, you know what I'm going to be like? I'm going to be like, I don't care if Amazon runs to $4,000. Well, if it starts doing that, I'll probably trade it. But I don't care if Amazon runs without me. I don't make money when this is happening. Let's just wait for the Qs to go up. Let's just wait. I'm just going to wait. So I take that out of my what could have been a losing day for me. If it was a losing day, that's what I would have took out of it. Ari Baba, to answer your question. What did I do wrong? Okay, I did that wrong. You know what? That's a positive. Next time I'm going to check the market, and I'm just going to sit back, because if I would have sat back, guys, and not to, well, I already said what I lost. So if I was down 30 grand and I came back for a four-figure positive day, you can assume I would have made 30 or 40,000 if I hadn't have blown up early trading Amazon here because I was being an idiot. Think about that. So I'm like, okay, so patience. What can I take away from today? Patience. Patience. Let the room find something if I'm tilting or if I can't make a trade. Let's sit back. Let's take a breather. Let's go, I don't know, drink a cup of coffee or tea, or, let's relax for a little bit. Wait, let the market show something. Oh, the market showed something. Oh, and then what happened later in the day? Huh. I wonder what happened later in the day. What's this run? Guess who got an apple right here and held this? Wouldn't that have been nice to do if I hadn't been down money earlier? You know? So, plays happen. We find things that work. What I can take away from that is, that stuff is, it's going to happen there. If I'm having a hard time trading, I'm just going to micro goal things, start going, or even micro goal stuff at the beginning of the day, wait for an actual good setup when the Qs are actually above the moving averages, and the name I want is actually trading higher, and then I'm going to take it. And that's how I come back from having down days, is I look at those things. I accept responsibility for my loss. I admit that I am not the best trader, that I have things to work on. It's not the market's fault. It's not anything else's fault. It's not Amazon, Apple, Google, the Q. Oh, if the Qs would have just ran up this morning, then I could have just smacked the crap out of Amazon and been up 5 figures and done for the day. Yeah, how many of you guys thought that, who was trading that? Or the same thing. If Apple just would have done that, or this would have just done this. Yeah, but it didn't. And you decided to trade it anyway. And you took that risk and you took that choice and you lost. Accept responsibility, make micro wins, begin to make those small changes, let those changes add up over time, and if you do end up red on the day, look at the strategic reasons that you trade, the long-term reasons that you trade, take those positive things, hold on to those positive things, and apply them, not forget them the next day then you come into the market. That's going to get you there over time. The long-term goal of trading, that is going to get you there. What's not going to get you there is anger, frustration, yelling, I just mad at all this other stuff, not accepting the responsibility, not making the changes that you have to make, looking at what other people make, expecting to make something because they can, being like, well, other people are, so I should. Identify yourself and your strengths. learn, adapt, learn how Rose, myself, other people do it. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. You know, if you type something in chat, or you ask something, and you know, and maybe we say something, maybe we don't. You should have the confidence eventually as you're growing to, yeah, I like this. I'm going to take it, and I'm just letting people know that it's there, and that's what we try to do. Is we try to instill that confidence, and these strategies instill that confidence that you can make money doing this, and that you can be successful doing this. The trick is not to have those big red days, and it's easier said than done. It is going to happen. You're going to have them, and you have two choices when you go down to whatever that big red day is for you. It's what I said earlier. You either decide to stop trading, which is a good choice, not a bad choice. And if you do not decide, it's like one of those flow charts, if you do not decide to stop trading, you come back and you continue to trade, and you cannot do what I said earlier, and you cannot detach and be 0-0 micro goals, not trying to get it all back, just slowly chopping away, just make some back, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to make good trades, it's all about the trading, not the money, then log off and stop trading. And that's it. And then accept responsibility for what you do, learn from it, and move on and come back the next day. It doesn't take overanalyzation, and it doesn't take beating yourself up. So that is my spiel for tonight. That's my rant, as it were. Just under 30 minutes. Questions, thoughts. That's what I got out of today. When I'm trading names, if there's something like this, like fail VWAP, you always should probably wait. You know, if you're, I can't see what you guys are looking, but yeah, the cues, if it's doing that, you know, wait for the names, wait for the room, trust the room, be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient. Let the strategies happen. Let the names set up. You know, trust the guys. Mitchell was on fire. He was on the mic for most of the morning, and he was just tearing it up. Google, all right, you know, you got it, Mitchell. And he's in there. He's calling the names. We're seeing it. People are making money. You got to be able to do that. I won probably in Amazon before. So questions. That's the spiel for this. Questions. Let me see. So I don't remember. I'd have to log into Fidelity. So I made some in Amazon here. I caught some of this move in Amazon at 10:06, possibly. Yeah, because Qs were above VWAP here, actually. So I made this in Amazon, and I started losing down here, but I caught some here in Amazon, and so this was a this was a semi not smart play, but I caught very small size. Like Tesla ripped down here and then started coming back up, and I think I bought somewhere in here for a pop and then sold it, and I didn't trade it anymore because it didn't continue higher. But I did make a little bit here in Tesla. That's a 2-minute chart, sorry. 1-minute chart. Yeah, pulled down here. I don't remember exactly. I caught one of these moves. I think I caught this move here in Tesla if you're looking at it. It wasn't a legit strat. It was more of just like it dropped and then it filled that candle so hard and then it dropped down a little bit. I'm like, I bet this breaks out. And I took it because it bounced off the 200 was kind of my thought. Small size. What else did I trade? Did I trade AMD? Or NVIDIA? Was NVIDIA going? AMD, I think I might have made like a couple hundred in AMD. I think NVIDIA I tried. I think, yeah, we were trading NVIDIA this morning, so I watched this. NVIDIA pulled down. I waited for the first. What I was waiting for NVIDIA is I expected it to gap fill a little bit, and I just waited for the first 1-minute breakout, and I didn't front run this breakout. I actually let it break out and then buy it. So I was just watching for this to go down. I bought this after it broke and then made that. And that was my trading. And then I lost in Boeing everything I had made before then. So a lot of times when I get a gap up, guys, I almost never buy it initially. I wait for it to pull down. I buy a 1-minute breakout, very small size, and see what happens. So yeah, that's what I made my money in earlier. Yeah, NVIDIA doesn't work for me either, Gasha. I hate NVIDIA. I shouldn't have traded it. Yes, Dyer. I use the stochastics on the Qs too, actually. For when I'm trading Amazon, I actually find that it works, especially for a quick 1-minute pop. If you're just waiting, you wait for the stochastics on the Qs to drop down, to pop up, and you can usually catch a pop in Amazon off that. And probably, yeah. I'm not sure just because of how your name is put together. I'm going to say Enya? Enya? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, Anya. Anya. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Anya. Now I know. So, yeah, and the video was not fun. I was hoping it would do, but I think it did later in the day. This is did it? Did it? No, it didn't. Never mind. The video didn't do anything. I didn't trade it the rest of the day. I took it off my list just because I hate that name. I used to like it, and sometimes I like it, but I didn't. I think AMD treats me better sometimes because it's a slower moving name. Questions or other thoughts on what I said? If anybody would like to add, feel free to hop in and add. Thoughts? Anything?
I just add, I think really, really good Gator. I'm going to need to re-listen to your video a couple times because you hit on my issue like a bunch of times. I'm like, I really need to get this hammered into my head. Um, Part of with me is I am the aggressive type, and I can lack that patience to wait for confirmation of the setup or for um, a more ideal. I'm always trying to catch, not always, but too often I try to catch the next breakout before it happens instead of, and especially with Amazon, sometimes you have to be early, which was working this morning, but doing it this afternoon was not working, and the implied volatility on the options was getting a lot more volatile, where they would just drop the bid on the options a point, 2 points, simply when Amazon would stop going up. If it just went sideways, the options were dropping and the bid would be dropping on the options. And part of that's due being late in the day before expiration. It's kind of the way the implied volatility was working. Whereas in the morning, there was so much momentum on Amazon that implied volatility would go up, but it was kind of stabilized. It would, because there was such anticipation that Amazon was going to go up again. They wouldn't just drop on you the second it stops going up. At least that's the way I found it. It and so I didn't. I had a little difficulty adjusting to that in the afternoon, and the way my fills were, and there's just a few things that caused me to give back a bit of money. And part of that I'm realizing is lack of patience and basic FOMO, FOMOing the next opportunity to make back the money I just lost on the previous 3, 4 trades. So when something's not working, even if you're doing everything, quote, right, like you said, ultimately you're still responsible for it's you. Although it's not really it's the market and the fills and all these other factors, but it's you trying to make something to keep working when it's saying, hey, something's off here. And when something's off too many times in a row, you need to step back, analyze, like, okay, why was this working this morning? Now it's not working. What's different? And if I had really given myself that time to really analyze it, I would have not given back so much, because I would have, put it into perspective that, okay, it's probably going to continue to be like this. And the very next trade is not all of a sudden magically going to be different.
Yep, and that's good. Like recognition on your part that you can see that and adapt to that. And if I think if you and me and other people, if we can take that and go forward and actually learn to recognize that in the middle of the day, I think it's really going to make a huge difference to not only our P&Ls but just our mental state, our ability to see things better and to make better trades. It's hard to do when you're losing though, or when something's not working. It's like something gets in the way of us being able to clearly see the market and clearly see things happening.
Yeah, exactly. And the more we analyze it after the fact and recognize it, it does help you to spot it during while it's happening, which is really hard, like you're saying. But it just, I think the more times you do it, the practice, even if you can just keep a count, like, okay, how many times can I, while I'm in the middle of bending basically, analyze and say, okay, what's actually going on here? And even if you don't change your physical behavior and you're still clicking the button and you're still bending, but just having that analytical conscious recognition, you have it enough times, it will start to affect your behavior and you'll start to bend a little bit less.
Yeah, it takes time to change behavior, and no one should come in here expecting that you're going to change anything overnight. I may make a similar mistake next week that I made today. So you're not going to change anything overnight. It takes time and it takes repetition to give yourself that grace to learn it and to adapt and take losing days as that positive of that, as best you can. It's hard to do, but of adapting and learning and applying your lessons learned to your trading, because it's a job, it's a skill, it's not, you're not gambling. It's not throwing money on black and seeing what happens. You're learning strategies, mentality, um, you know, um, and you're growing mentally when you're trading. And if you're not doing that and adapting and flowing with the market, then you're going to get wrecked. Anya's question, um, Amazon was choppy and she couldn't get a confidence entry today. Any advice? And I think she asked Rose. I'll answer it then. Rose, for me, if it's choppy and I don't feel confident, I just don't trade it. And I'm just like, whatever. And if I do trade it, maybe I ask somebody like, hey, when are y'all like front running or something like that. Um, I wait for a red bar on the 1 minute, wait for a pull down and buy it. I mean, there's a lot of different answers there. Sometimes, if you really just have to trade it, you go as small size as you can and just mark it in and mark it out, generally speaking, to get confidence, depending on your ability to take losses and stuff like that. Find a safe contract. I don't know if Rose, if you have anything different. If I don't have confidence in Amazon, I don't trade it on you. That's my answer. I don't know if Rose has different, because I know Rose trades Amazon a lot.
I trade Amazon almost every day. Amazon today, despite it going up over 100 points, was actually very difficult. Similar to Tesla a couple of weeks ago when it ran in a few days 200 points. I could not make any money on Tesla. No matter, I mean, there are times I would, but I would just get the volatility, the whip, and I was just losing and losing money. And I didn't stop losing money until I stopped trading Tesla. Although this last week Tesla's been different and it's traded differently. The options are traded differently, and I have been able to make decent money on Tesla. And so sometimes when a stock is running, you feel like, oh, I should be making all this money on it because it's just running and it's up 100 points and all. And you can get that FOMO of missing all this money you quote should be making. And it's not always that easy because even though it's going up, you can still lose money on it very easily. Amazon today, for me, was only working if I was getting good fills. And I did have to, excuse me, have to adjust my strategy with it where I was basically buying. I need to get some water. Hold on.
I'll say something just while Rose, until she hops back, and just jump on when you get back, Rose. But it's easy to feel bad. And what she's about to say, I think, and she'll say it better than me, is adjusting strategy as she's going and figuring it out. But it made me feel bad too. Like, I should be making money in this. Why am I not? And that's why I looked down. I was like, I should be really green right now, and I am 5 figures red. What the heck? And and that, what that shows? I'm thinking about the money. And what have I said before about when you think about the money you lose? 100% of the time, me, everybody else, when you think about the money you lose, because it's not about identifying the trade, what you need to shift in your trading as a scalper, buy early or a little bit later, let it trigger, 2 minute green takes red. You're not process first, as you're saying, your money first. And you're thinking, it's up 100 points, I should be up, pick your number, and you're losing because you're not thinking process. Go ahead, Rose.
Yeah, so thank you for filling that in. Um, for Amazon, I don't know how it was on Fidelity. I think I took, I don't even think I took a single trade over there on it, but on E Trade, most of the time, not all the time, I was getting good enough fills to where I could make it work. And it was so important because if you were not getting, they were so spread, these options. And if you went to where they weren't spread, it was really hard to get them to move. So it was definitely difficult today with Amazon. But it had so much momentum in the morning. What I was doing is basically buying the pullback, buying the dip of every pullback. Not every pullback, but it would pull back some more, and I was trying to time it off the cues. And then when the cues would turn around, and when Amazon has that intense strength, relative strength to the market, relative strength, it was so strong, it hardly would even want to go down when the cues are taking a big going down. And then when those cues turn around and start to go back up with a little bit more oomph, then Amazon's just like boom, right back up. So I was trying to basically buy the bottom of every one of these dips down, but your timing has to, you can't get in too early or you're going to get really hurt because it's still, on its way down. And I'm also looking at the level 2, and I'm mostly doing it off the level 2. So I'm trying to time the momentum with the level 2, and then I'm also looking at the setups, the 1 minute green takes red, or the 2 minute. But I'm not waiting for those to trigger, because by the time you wait for those to trigger, it's it's so volatile. It will whip down $1 or $2 or something. So it was more a just following the momentum trade, but not chasing, but chasing the I'm not even waiting for the candle to close. I'm waiting for it to, on the level 2, for the buys to start coming back in with a little bit of speed, trying to time it with the cues. So it's hard to articulate or explain this because it's not like a defined strategy of a green takes red on a 1 minute or a 2 minute, but it is try to combine it with that, but it's more just following the momentum on it. And I have hundreds of hours of staring at nothing but Amazon and the level 2 on Amazon, literally for the past 10 months, for hours and hours and hours every day. So when you stare at something that long, you kind of can get a feel, and you can kind of recognize certain patterns that you see in the way the bid and the ask change, the speed in which the bid and the ask changes. So if you don't have that screen time, not saying you can't do it, I'm just saying it gives you a little bit of an edge. So I can just intuitively look at that and say, oh, this thing's about to go up, because of the way I see the ask and the bid changing, and the speed, and just various little nuances, small nuances that help me time my entry, because I literally hundreds of hours stared at that bid and ask changing for several months. So that's part of that. I don't know what to. It's not a strategy, I guess, but it's just part of the information I'm using to time my entry.
That's really good, and she's right what she's saying. It really is time in front of the screen. And there's so many times when people ask, and I know they ask Rose, and they're just like, "Well, how do you do this? How do you do this?" This is, I mean, I spend 8 hours a day or more, and 8 hours a day trading or whatever, and watching the level 2 and stuff. Like, well, how are you so good at Tesla? I just trade it every day. How do you know when it's running up that you're going to buy, or when Amazon's running up that you're buying all these 1 minute breakouts? Because I've seen Tesla run up for the last year, and I've traded it every time it's run up for a year. I've been doing this for a year and a half, trading Tesla. Um, Screen time, level 2 watch time, is like, oh, this is happening. It's like almost instinctive. I've seen the level 2 move in Tesla, and I just know, buy, buy. Oh, it's going up. Oh, there's these triggers here. Oh, buy. Sure, I'm wrong sometimes, but there's no replacement for screen time, and for being in front of your screen, and for trading, and for watching the names, and to learning a name and learning how that name trades and how the options move, and when you can make money in it, when you can't. It gives you confidence to hold longer. You learn when you need to hyper scalp it. There are days when Rose, I know, has held Amazon through a lot of triggers. Today, I think she was selling really quickly. She's learned when to, like, it's choppy today, quick sell. Yep, boom, quick sell, I'm out. Other days, she's like, I'm still in this, guys, and it's like 5 points later. So you really have to learn and adapt, and it's never the same day to day almost. just because things change. And that's the same for every name. And that's why we have to learn and continue to grow as traders.
Well said.
So with that, if I don't see another question come in, or if y'all have some, you can always comment on YouTube. You can comment on Discord later. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, and thank you if you're watching on YouTube later. If you come and watch it, let me know what you think about the video. I'm trying to improve the format of everything, make it a little bit better, a little bit more easy to watch. If you want to come trade with us, the Discord will be listed in the description below. I appreciate your time. Let's continue to learn. Let's continue to get better in here. Let's make everyone better. Yeah, I'll share my TC2000 layout, and we'll come in tomorrow and hopefully trade better than we did today. So thank you for spending your evening with us. Have a great evening. Get some rest, get some sleep, and let's hit the market again tomorrow and end the week strong, the week before Thanksgiving. So we got a lot to be thankful for as traders. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.